All right, so we're diving into the world of cattle pedicurists today. Getting ready for that interview, huh? Well, we've got a ton of resources from RoleCatcher to help you out.
It's fascinating, really.
What is
This whole field.
cattle pedicure?
Yeah, it's way more than just trimming hooves.
Fill me in.
It's about animal welfare, making sure farms are compliant with all the regulations. Even the tech side of things is evolving.
Huh. So more than meets the eye, then.
You could say that.
So before we jump into the interview questions, let's paint a picture of what a cattle pedicurist actually does.
Right, because it's not like a farrier, just anyone can do
They
it.
need some serious credentials.
Oh, yeah. They've got to be pros at hoof anatomy, know how to spot and treat diseases, and, of course, all the trimming and shaping technique.
And all this within a regulatory framework, right?
Absolutely. That's a big part of it.
Making sure everything is by the book.
It's about keeping those animals healthy and the whole farming operation running smoothly.
Okay, so let's get into some of those interview questions you're likely to face.
And remember, RoleCatcher has got loads of sample questions and even AI-powered feedback to help you polish your answers.
Wow, AI feedback. That's cool.
It's really helpful, trust me.
Okay, first up, a classic. What inspired you to become a cattle pedicurist?
Yes, the passion question.
How do you answer that without just saying you love animals?
You got to go deeper.
Dig a little.
Exactly. Think about why you're drawn to this. What motivates you?
Connect those personal motivations to the core values of the job.
Bingo. Animal welfare, that meticulous care, doing things the right way.
So instead of just saying, I love cows, you'd say something like,
Maybe talk about the science behind hoof care, how fascinating it is.
or how important ethical and humane treatment of livestock is to you.
Now you're getting it.
And RoleCatcher's AI comes in handy here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
It can analyze your response, compare it to other successful answers, give you some pointers.
Like, it can tell if you're on the right track.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It might suggest ways to make your answer stronger, highlight the relevant skills.
Even tailor it to the specific farm you're applying to.
That's the beauty of AI. It can get really specific.
Okay, next question. How do you handle difficult or uncooperative cattle during a pedicure?
Here's where you showcase those problem-solving skills, your experience.
Not just about being strong and wrestling them down.
No way. It's about understanding their behavior.
Calming techniques, building trust,
That's the key, working with the animal, not against it.
making it safe and respectful for everyone.
Exactly. And this is where those RoleCatcher sample responses can be so helpful.
They give you a starting point.
So you're not caught off guard in the interview. You know what to expect.
All right, moving on. A question about the ever-changing world of agriculture. How do you stay up to date on the latest techniques and technology in cattle pedicure?
This is your chance to show them you're dedicated to learning, always improving.
Not just stuck in the old ways.
You're adaptable, excited about new technologies.
Mentioning those specific examples from RoleCatcher's industry trend section,
Like the new trimming tools or digital monitoring systems.
you're showing them you're on top of things.
The agriculture industry is moving fast. You got to keep up.
Okay, time for a question where you can really shine. What is your process for assessing the hoof health of a cow?
This is where you go into detail.
Walk them through it.
Step by step, mentioning the tools you use, like the hoof pick, the knives.
And connecting those tools to specific actions, right?
Right, like
Yeah.
I use a hoof pick to remove any dirt or debris so I can really examine the hoof for signs of disease or injury.
You're demonstrating that understanding.
Not just going through the motions, you know why you're doing it.
Building on that, next question is about those hoof care plans.
How you put all that knowledge into practice.
So question 5. How do you work with clients to develop a hoof care plan for their cattle?
This is all about collaboration.
Working together with the client.
You gather information from them, the breed of cattle, their living conditions, any history of hoof problems.
And then create a customized plan.
That meets their specific needs.
You're like a hoof care consultant, working in partnership with them.
I like that.
Now, shifting gears a bit, question 6. How do you ensure the safety of both the cattle and yourself during a pedicure?
Safety first.
You really want to highlight those protocols.
The specific equipment you use, like cattle chutes, protective gear.
Don't forget to mention the work environment section in RoleCatcher.
It's got some great insights into potential hazards and how to minimize them.
Okay, now a more complex question. How do you handle ethical concerns related to cattle pedicure, such as the use of pain medication or euthanasia?
This one requires a thoughtful response.
No easy answers here.
Explain the factors you consider when facing those tough decisions.
Showing your ability to navigate those ethical dilemmas.
With compassion and good judgment.
All right, let's talk about efficiency. How do you manage your time effectively when working with multiple clients in cattle herds?
Time management is key in this field.
Show them you're organized.
Talk about your techniques for scheduling, prioritizing tasks.
Maybe you use a digital calendar or a specific time blocking method.
Whatever works for you, share it.
Okay, question 9. What do you consider to be the most important qualities for a cattle pedicurist?
Time to go beyond the technical skills.
Emphasize those soft skills.
Communication, problem solving, adaptability.
And of course, a genuine love for animals.
You're showing then you're the whole package.
Not just skilled, but passionate and dedicated.
Exactly.
Before we move on, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI platform for a second.
It really is a game changer for interview prep.
Besides analyzing your answers, what else can it do?
Well, it can tailor your CV and cover letter to specific job descriptions.
Highlight those relevant skills and experience.
It can even analyze those job descriptions to see if you're missing any skills and then recommend courses to fill those gaps.
Now, it's like having a personal career coach.
Exactly. It helps you put your best foot forward.
Now, let's shift focus to career advancement.
You don't want to stay entry-level forever.
Right. How can aspiring cattle pedicurists climb that career ladder?
The guide highlights a few paths: becoming a senior pedicurist, managing a team, further education.
Like veterinary medicine or animal science.
There's room for growth and specialization.
And continuous learning is key.
Absolutely. Workshops, conferences, staying current.
The guide also mentions building a strong professional network.
Connecting with others, joining associations, attending events.
RoleCatcher's AI can help with all that too.
Oh yeah, it can connect you with others in your field, recommend events.
It's like having a personal career assistant.
But even with all the technology, passion and dedication are still what matters.
Well said. Now let's break down the different career stages, starting with entry-level cattle pedicurist.
What does that typically look like?
Yeah, what are they doing day to day?
At this stage, you're assisting senior pedicurists, learning the ropes.
Lots of hands-on experience, soaking it all up.
Typical responsibilities are assisting with hoof trimming, keeping the work area clean, basic foot care.
The guide gives an example profile. Someone with a good grasp of regulatory requirements, good at record keeping.
Important skills to highlight in an interview.
Shows you're not just about the practical side.
You understand the importance of compliance and documentation.
Okay, next step up, junior cattle pedicurist.
Here, you're taking on more responsibility, working more independently.
Making decisions, solving problems.
Conducting hoof inspections, identifying issues, implementing treatment plans.
More on your plate.
You're expected to trim and maintain hooves, treat and prevent diseases, collaborate with vets.
The example profile emphasizes trimming skills, treating infections, collaborating with others.
And that meticulous record keeping, being transparent and accountable.
Finally, the senior cattle pedicurist.
Now you're leading the charge, managing a team, overseeing inspections.
From practitioner to leader and mentor.
You're responsible for training junior staff, ensuring compliance, refining techniques.
The example profile highlights their commitment to training and mentoring, collaborating with authorities, improving skills.
They're passionate about providing that top-notch hoof care, which is what it's all about.
And a successful cattle pedicurist needs a strong foundation in knowledge and learning, right? What are the key takeaways there?
The guide really stresses both core knowledge and staying updated.
Attending workshops, seminars, conferences.
Keeping up with industry trends through publications, websites, courses.
Lifelong learning is essential.
The field is constantly evolving.
All right, we've covered a lot. Defining the role, exploring interview questions, understanding career stages.
It's been quite a deep dive into the world of cattle pedicurists.
Before we wrap up this part, let's talk about the tools and equipment.
The guide lists the essentials: hoof trimming shears, knives, blocks, rasps, files, picks.
And protective gear, of course. Safety first.
Knowing how to use these tools effectively is crucial.
All right, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive.
We've covered a lot, but there's more to explore.
In part 2, we'll delve into those common hoof diseases and answer some frequently asked questions about this career.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
Interview questions, career paths, even a peek at the tools of the trade.
Now let's get a little more hands-on, shall we?
Hands-on.
Well, not literally, but let's talk about those common hoof diseases.
Oh, right, the nitty-gritty.
The RoleCatcher guide mentions hoof rot, digital dermatitis, laminitis, sole ulcers.
White line disease, abscesses.
That's quite the list.
Each one needs a different approach, a different treatment.
Like a hoof disease buffet, but not a fun one.
Definitely not fun for the cows.
Let's break down a few, starting with hoof rot.
Okay, hoof rot, or sometimes it's called foot rot.
What is it exactly?
It's a bacterial infection.
Where does it attack?
The tissues between the toes.
Ouch. That sounds painful.
It can be, and it often leads to lameness.
Which means,
The cow can't walk properly, affects their mobility and well-being.
what should a cattle pedicurist look out for?
Lameness is the big one, obviously.
Any other sign?
You might see swelling around the hoof, redness, sometimes a foul odor.
And how's it treated?
Usually antibiotics.
Antibiotics, got it.
Sometimes topical, sometimes injectable, and you gotta clean and disinfect the area.
Throat cleaning, essential.
Right, on to the next one.
Sure, let's tackle digital dermatitis.
Another bacterial infection, but this one affects the skin around the heel.
So not between the toes this time.
Nope, the heel area.
What kind of symptoms are we talking about?
You'll often see lesions, ulcers, sores in that area.
And the skin.
Red, raw, painful for the cow.
So more antibiotics,
Yep, usually the go-to.
along with,
Topical medications, sometimes bandaging to protect the area.
okay, onto a more serious one, perhaps.
Laminitis.
Yeah, what's happening there?
This one's a bit more complex.
Lay it on me.
Laminitis affects the laminae, the tissues that connect the hoof wall to the pedal bone.
Inside the hoof.
That's right.
So the foundation of the hoof is compromised.
Good way to put it.
What causes it?
Lots of things, actually.
Such as?
Nutritional imbalances, metabolic disorders, even trauma.
And we know it causes lameness. But are there long-term consequences?
In severe cases, yes.
Right.
Permanent damage to the hoof, chronic pain, even euthanasia in some cases.
That's heavy stuff.
Early detection and treatment are crucial.
Absolutely. All right, what about sole ulcers?
Those are sores on the sole of the hoof.
So the underside,
Yep, often caused by pressure or trauma.
walking on rough ground.
Exactly, like a pressure sore on a human.
How are they treated?
You remove any loose or damaged tissue, apply bandages or pads, address the underlying cause, make sure the cow's living environment is suitable.
Okay. 2 more on our list.
White line disease and abscesses.
White line disease, what is that?
It's a fungal infection, affects the white line,
The white line.
the junction between the hoof wall and the sole.
Okay. And what should we be looking for?
Cracks or separation in the white line, discoloration, maybe a foul odor.
Treatment.
Remove the infected tissue, apply antifungal medications, protect the hoof.
Lastly, abscesses.
A pocket of pus within the hoof.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
It's caused by a bacterial infection. Very painful for the cow.
Often leads to lameness.
Right, so how do you treat it?
Well, I'm guessing draining the abscess would be the first step.
You got it.
Then cleaning, antibiotics, bandages.
Exactly.
Important to remember, though, a cattle pedicurist isn't a vet.
Right. If it's serious, always consult a vet for the proper diagnosis and treatment.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's tackle some frequently asked questions about this career.
The RoleCatcher Guide has a whole section on this.
Perfect. Let's start with a basic one. What exactly does a cattle pedicurist do?
Seems straightforward, but it's good to be clear.
Absolutely. So what do they do?
They specialize in hoof care, making sure everything is compliant with regulations.
So, healthy hooves and keeping the farms on the right side of the law.
That's the gist of it.
Next question dives a bit deeper.
Yeah.
What are the responsibilities of a cattle pedicurist?
Well, the guide lists several key things.
Give us the rundown.
Trimming and maintaining hooves, obviously.
That's a given.
Identifying and treating hoof diseases, preventing lameness, following those regulations, keeping accurate records.
And collaborating with vets when necessary.
Lots to juggle.
It's a diverse skill set.
For sure, it's both practical expertise and a good understanding of animal health and welfare.
All right, next FAQ. What skills do you need to become a cattle pedicurist?
The guide highlights a few essentials.
Hit me.
Knowledge of cattle anatomy and hoof health, obviously.
Makes sense?
Proficiency in trimming techniques, familiarity with regulations, ability to diagnose and treat those diseases, good record-keeping skills, and strong communication and collaboration.
So hands-on skills, technical knowledge, and people skills.
You need it all.
It's not just about the hooves, it's about the whole animal and working with people.
Absolutely. Now, a practical question, how does someone actually become a cattle pedicurist?
Yeah, how do you get into this field?
The guide suggests relevant education or training, vocational programs, apprenticeships.
So not necessarily a university degree?
Not essential, but specialized training is key.
And hands-on experience, I imagine.
Absolutely. Working with cattle and their hooves.
And staying updated on those regulations and best practices.
The field is always evolving.
Okay, another practical one. What are some specific tools or equipment used by cattle pedicurists?
We touched on this before, but the guide lists hoof trimming shears, knives, blocks, rasps, files, picks, and protective gear.
Those tools have come a long way.
Technology is changing everything.
Now a question that gets to the heart of it. How important is the role of a cattle pedicurist in ensuring cattle welfare?
The guide emphasizes that it's critical, maintaining the overall health and well-being of the animals.
So it's not just about pretty hooves.
It's about preventing lameness and other issues that impact the quality of life.
Hoof health is directly linked to animal welfare.
Exactly.
Okay, next FAQ. What are some common hoof diseases or issues that cattle pedicurists deal with?
We've covered quite a few already.
Hoof rot, digital dermatitis, laminitis, sole ulcers, the whole shebang.
It's all part of the job.
Okay, another common question. How often should cattle hooves be trimmed?
That depends on what.
The breed, age, and living conditions of the cattle.
So it varies.
The guide says generally every few months
Regular checkups are essential.
for preventing problems down the line.
Now, a question about teamwork. Do cattle pedicurists work independently, or do they usually work with other professionals?
While they can work independently, they often collaborate vets, other animal health professionals,
It's about holistic care,
addressing both hoof health and any underlying medical issues.
a team effort.
Right. Last FAQ. How can someone ensure compliance with regulatory requirements as a cattle pedicurist?
Staying up to date is crucial.
Absolutely. Regularly updating your knowledge, documenting procedures, keeping accurate records.
It's about being diligent and responsible.
Being a cattle pedicurist is rewarding, but it comes with responsibilities.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground, from hoof diseases to those FAQs,
It's been a whirlwind tour of cattle hoof care.
but we're not done yet. There's more.
Oh yeah, in our final part, we'll explore those alternative titles for this profession, look at related careers, and uncover some valuable resources.
Sounds good.
Welcome back for the final part of our cattle pedicurist journey.
It's been quite a ride, hasn't it?
Definitely. So much to learn about these hoof care heroes.
Heroes, I like that.
Let's circle back to that official definition.
Of a cattle pedicurist.
Yeah, just to refresh our memory.
The RoleCatcher Guide defines it as a dedicated professional who specializes in the meticulous care of cattle hooves, ensuring compliance with all those regulations.
It's about those healthy hooves, but also
The health and welfare of the whole animal.
and making sure those farms are operating smoothly, legally.
It's a vital role.
And maybe deserves a title that really captures that expertise.
A title with a little more oomph.
Exactly. What are some alternatives?
The guide mentions hoof care specialist, which I kind of like.
Me too. It emphasizes that knowledge, those skills.
They're not just trimmers, they're specialists.
And speaking of skills, those transferable skills they develop.
Open doors to other careers, right?
Exactly. The guide highlights some interesting paths.
Hmm.
Animal care attendant, kennel worker, animal handler, dog trainer.
Even zoo section leader.
If you love animals but decide cattle hooves aren't your thing.
There are options.
And speaking of options, the RoleCatcher Guide has a ton of resources.
For those who want to delve deeper,
They've got links to those core skills guides.
deep dives into the essential techniques.
Perfect for brushing up on your knowledge.
We're filling in any gaps.
Links to related career guides, too.
So you can compare different paths in animal care.
And a section on transferable skills.
How your cattle pedicurist expertise can apply elsewhere.
Plus, links to external resources.
Like professional organizations, associations.
Even the Occupational Outlook Handbook for agricultural workers.
It's a goldmine of information.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
remember, you're not just prepping for an interview.
You're embarking on a fulfilling career.
A career that combines passion with skill.
And RoleCatcher is there to help you every step of the way.
Their platform is incredible. AI-powered CV tailoring, interview practice, career exploration tools.
Whether you're just starting out or looking to advance.
RoleCatcher is an invaluable resource.
But remember, technology is just a tool.
What really matters.
Passion, dedication, that willingness to learn and grow.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go out there and make those hooves happy.
The world needs skilled cattle pedicurists, and the future is bright.
It's a rewarding path, and you've got this.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of cattle pedicurists.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating career exploration.